I don't actually even remember what our topic was going to be before we started, but we did not end up.
Yeah. Dylan's a really good podcast host.
He is.
He was very good at that. I'm very bad. I interrupt. I get too excited. I've got something to say.
No, I love that. It'll be perfect, and we'll totally gel. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, it'll be absolutely fun. All right, I'm already recording.
Oh wow, you are too.
Yeah, I just cut it. I'll edit it. It's just nice it's good to find like a nice starting point if we just like flow our way into it rather than being like, oh, let's start. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. But yeah, who are you? Give me a rundown.
Oh, the $1 million question. I love this question. It changes I feel like it changes nearly every time depending on where I'm at in that day. But my name is Tess Martin, and I am a facilitator. I facilitate international retreats and events, but my main connection is through the beautiful plant medicine of cacao. I've been working with her for quite a few years now and have essentially developed a transformational workshop experience for people who are wanting to dive deeper within themselves and unlock aspects and areas of their expression that have not been accessed before. And from the development of those experiences, it's happened very organically. I've gone into now the facilitation side of it because I realized that I was only one person and that there were only so many people that I physically could hold space for in this lifetime and in, the formative years of these experiences. And how could I, especially with everything that's unfolding on the planet right now, how could I create something that would ripple through the world where exponentially could expand, and the people who really need these beautiful, safe places to come to could have access to that. So created a beautiful little team of facilitators, and that's now my little community online. And as well as that, I have 4 beautiful children, and we have created this epic life in Byron Bay here in Australia.
I love that. That's a lot, but it's beautiful.
It's a lot.
I'm just going to quickly give a little bit of background to me and Tess in that we are on a business coaching intensive together. We've actually never had a one-on-one conversation before. This is the first time we've actually talked, but I think we both knew from the get-go that we were riding the same waves, and we always seem to like, if Tom or someone says something, I feel like I catch your eye sometimes and I'm like, we're thinking the same thing, like just a little bit deeper, you know what I mean? Like
that happens so many times. And if it's not yourself, just for some context, like if it's not with you, it will be this other gorgeous guy, Dylan. It'll be either one of you, where one of us will look up at the other and we have that split moment of telepathic communication of like, oh, there it is.
I love it. It's so funny. But yeah, you bring big mama energy. And maybe that's because I always seek that, but like, yeah, I definitely found that in you. I think I messaged you early on and was like, hey, do you want to be my spiritual mama now? Like,
and I get that bit, and I do. Thank you for seeing that, because I do have that energy, and there has been, I think what I picture in my mind of that is, I actually pushed that away a little bit for a while because I didn't want to be seen as, that big mama energy is like, it's full on, it's all encompassing. And there was aspects of me that were afraid to really take that on. And still to this day, like it's, it's all a journey. But I'm really embracing it more and more as just a natural aspect of who I am. It's been a part of who I am since I remember being a teenager and having those nurturing mama aspects of me.
I think I just could tell straight away that you are the kind of person that unconditionally will care for someone. That's what I got. Thank
you.
That's what I got. All right. What about your background? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a city just outside of Melbourne called Ballarat. Oh, everyone knows Ballarat for the gold rush. It's the first thing people say whenever I mention it.
I didn't know that. I mean, I'm English, but I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what Ballarat was sort of put on the map for. There's a lot of gold.
Okay.
Yeah. So I grew up there. Yeah. Born and bred there. I lived there till I was 28.
Wow. Yeah. Bloody hell.
Yeah. 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 So it is a city. It's not a small country town, but it is the kind of place where it is not uncommon to find 3 or 4 generations of the same family all still living there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of keeps people. I had to get out.
I'm glad you did get out. Look at you. Flying free.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
All right, cool. Where did you go after that?
Essentially for a little, can I tell a bit of story to this? Just so you know, like when you're like, wow, that before when you said, actually, Maisie, before when you said, wow, that was a lot, but that is who you are. And I was about to just chime in with, okay, just to preface this whole podcast, you're going to get a lot. It's just how it's going to be.
Can I ask another question quickly? What's your astrological signs?
Yeah, all right. Yes.
I think there's a significant lag on this podcast.
Okay, we're back. How is that?
Are we good?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Okay, it's all right. I'll cut this out. Don't stress.
Yeah, cool.
What are your astrological signs?
So I am you'll love this. I'm a Capricorn sun with a Scorpio moon. So just so you know, of my 9, I've got 5 houses in Capricorn, 3 in Scorpio, and 1 Aries.
Damn.
So I'm full earth and water vibes. Death and rebirth come at me and let me ground that shit in.
Yeah, fuck, you know. What's your rising?
Cap.
Yeah, shit. All right, that makes sense. I've been wondering that for a long time. Anyway, continue with the story before we lost track and cut out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how I got out of there. Well, I basically got to this point in my life where I was on the outside of my life, it looked like we had it all going. I literally had a white picket fence. We had the beautiful we owned our own home. We had this thriving company. My partner, the father of all my kids, we've been together for like 11 years. He was chasing a professional football soccer career and traveling all over the country, trialing and connecting with A-League clubs and things like that. And I was at home. I had dabbled in multiple businesses and was kind of really trying to get my own thing happening on the side as well. We were very driven people. And obviously, though, with everything that he was doing, he was very much like in his genius and just creating and thriving. He really played that solid provider, protector, like masculine role in our family. Yeah. And I was at home with these 4 little kids. Like I had 4 little kids under the age of, I think the eldest was like 5.5, maybe 6 when the youngest was born. So we're all quite close together. Yeah. And I remember having days, progressively built up, really. This point that I'm getting to is, I remember days of like loading up like the 3rd load of washing for the day and unstacking the dishwasher for the 3rd time that day. Because just so you know, kids create a lot of volume.
Oh, I know that. I know that as well. Yeah.
And I remember just having these moments of like, there is so much more in me than this. Like I've got so much more to give than this. And I just felt like this empty, numb shell that was working on complete autopilot. Yeah. I didn't feel anything. I would wake up in the morning and completely apathetic. There was nothing running through my body. I was completely disconnected from everything. And it just got to this point where of course, through beautiful synchronicities of everything weaving together the way it does, I did my first online program, and that started to crack open these places that had just been completely cut off.
Would you say that you were self-aware before this, and you became, no. So you were just a complete ghost in a machine, and you did this, you kind of found a calling and a pull towards this program.
Yeah. So I think, look, when I say not self-aware, as in, now that I reflect back and with a bit of hindsight, I definitely had this energetic and this essence and this, it was always there. It was always there. And even through school, like I knew, I'm like, I'm here to do something. I've never felt like I fit in. And actually recognized this the other day. I'm a very good chameleon. I became very good at being who I needed to be in my situation and circumstances to basically mesh with that environment. I was very good at becoming a product of my ecosystem, and I was very good at adapting to ecosystems to fit it. But having said that, I should say, there was always a deeper inner knowing that there was something else there that I was going to do that was very unique. And I think that's why I jumped into so many businesses and things along the way, because I was searching for it. I was trying to find out what that was. And however, self-aware in terms of becoming aware of patterns and conditioning and all that sort of stuff, no, absolutely not. Completely shut off. But that's what this program kind of did. I started to realize all of these areas that I was suppressing the truth of what was wanting to come through me and be expressed through me, who I was meant to be in this life, rather than being that chameleon all the time. And for me, I call it a deep intuitive knowing that if I was truly, I'm a kind of all in person. It's like I am either all the freaking way in or don't even bother. And I knew for myself that if this was going to happen, if I was truly going to have the space and freedom to essentially strip away absolutely everything that I was and let go of every identity and label that society had so kindly placed upon me because of my, what my external life looked like, I had to fully rip myself out of my reality and plonk myself in a reality that was completely foreign. So I went through this incredible, really compact time of growth, expansion, learning, reprogramming, if you like, and moved my whole family. We sold everything we owned down to one little Kathmandu backpack each, not like a big hiking one, like a little day pack. And we jumped on a plane and went to Bali, all 6 of us.
Yeah, no shit. I actually, I listened to your podcast with Dill the other day, and I heard that story, and I messaged my partner, and I was like, hey, should we move to Bali? I was like, I think we should go to Bali next, just because of the way you were talking about Bali. And she was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it. I was like, all right, next up, Bali.
Yes. And I think it's just, there is such a magic to Bali and the people. And of course, there's stuff that happens. The thing with Bali, like I did mention in this podcast that you referenced the other day, that there is this deep feminine flow through there, and she will nurture you and cradle you, but she will pierce you and she will throw you into all sorts of chaos. And all kinds of storms for you to navigate to re-find your center. And that absolutely happened. Like people, a lot of people go to Bali, have their wonderful couple of weeks holiday or whatever. But when you're really living in it, and if you really deeply become attuned to the flow and way of life there, you are going to be thrown into the furnace. And it is, she provides you with the most incredible growth.
Yeah, fuck. You mentioned Lowlines. Can you talk about, do you know enough to just give a little spiel about Lowlines and what they are?
I can give a little spiel. I'm at all just fully humbling myself to the fact that I don't know, but I can give
just
a little spiel.
Just what you know and understand about Lowlines.
Absolutely. So the way I like to start this is that and I'm sure a lot of your listeners will be very in tune with this, but obviously we have our beautiful chakras that line through our body from root all the way to crown. Well, the earth has her own, and they're positioned in certain areas around the world. So, for example, the root chakra of the world is Mount Shasta in California.
Interesting.
Yeah. The sacral is Lake Titicaca in Peru.
This is so cool.
The solar plexus, wait for it. Where do you think the solar plexus might be?
I got no idea. The world is so big. Oh, no shit.
Peru. Yeah. The throat chakra is Mount Batur in Bali. The heart chakra is Glastonbury in the UK. And Africa. Far out. I think the crown moves. The crown actually moves. I think currently is also positioned around Glastonbury.
Yeah.
And now I'm going, what have I missed?
You mentioned Byron.
Third eye. So the third eye is Africa, and now it's completely escaped me as to where it is. But that's okay. I think
that's A-okay. I mean, that's enough to blow someone's mind anyway. Like, fucking my mind is smithereens right now. That is so fucking cool.
Yeah. And there's a lot of these places I've named. People go there, and if they're slightly in tune with being able to pick up on subtleties, they go there and they're like, there is something about that place.
Yeah.
Even just on a very surface level, if people are a little bit in touch with things, they go to these places and it's like, there's something there.
Damn.
So these ley lines, so they're the chakras of the world, and they are connected with what they say is these very potent and very powerful energetic lines that run beneath the Earth's surface that connect them all. But there's also I want to say substrate, but that's not the right word. But there's other lines that come off these lines and other energetic centers and portals. So, for example, Hawaii is known to be a very powerful, if you want to say positive energetic vortex.
Yeah.
Bermuda Triangle, very potent negative one. Makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of them around. There's actually one over Ballarat that is where I grew up. It's not quite as powerful as Bermuda Triangle, but there is a negative vortex over Ballarat. And to me, that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot that's happened in that city that is very fucking dark.
Yeah.
Very, very dark.
Wow.
Anyway, so yes, Byron Bay, where I'm from, which is hilarious. I did mention this again on the podcast the other day. Yeah. There are ley lines that run through there that connect to both Uluru and straight through to Bali.
Yeah, that's what you said. And I was like, I literally have goosebumps right now. This is so cool. That. It piqued my interest. The moment you said that, I was like, ley lines. I was like, I forgot about ley lines, and quickly jumped into Google and went on a nosedive. And I was like, we have to talk about ley lines because this shit is the bomb, man. The network of energy.
Yes.
It's so huge. Cool.
It's really cool. So there's a lot of very, very sacred indigenous sites around the area as well. A lot of very well-known, birthing pools and things like that. And there's also, I was having a look into this the other day. So Michael and Mary ley lines, they talk about being there's masculine and feminine lines as well.
Yes.
And Mount Warning, which is out the back, kind of a bit behind the hinterlands, that lays straight on the Michael ley line. And then there's Mount Chincogan in just off Mullumbimby that sits just in front, or just kind of diagonally in front of Mount Warning. When you're out at these particular rocks in the ocean and you look back toward the shore, there's Mount Warning sitting just on the side of and behind Mount Chincogan, which is just outside of Mullumbimby, and that's Mary ley line. And they intersect further inland toward Uluru or something like that. It's nuts. It's just nuts.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Cool. This is the shit, really man. Cool. This is the shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's come back.
Let's come back. But that was epic.
Yeah, so epic. What's been your biggest learning this year?
My biggest learning this year. Honestly, I feel like this has been a mantra that I've sort of stood by since the beginning of my journey, actually as a mother. And it's something that this year has just really integrated into my life in a whole other way. And that is, regardless of your external circumstances, you always have a choice and you can always create your way out of something. And I remember when I became a mother, and I wrote about this in a post a little while ago, that I decided that I was going to be an exception, that I was going to show that it didn't have to be the way that society had decided it was going to be. And then that kind of just weaved into everything. But then this year, you know, in the midst of a quote unquote global pandemic, I've actually created my business, and it has just exploded. And there's all of these thriving, and I'm thriving, and everyone I'm impacting is thriving and creating, like, they're literally stepping into the truth of what their medicine and magic is, like their medicine for this world. And I think for me, it's just, again, just really anchoring into that. There's been so many, like, there's all the little subtleties that now I look back over the year, if I was really to take it, that would be a big learning for me, in that is that it actually doesn't matter what your external, and this is going to trigger warning for people probably, but it's like, it doesn't matter what your external circumstances look like. You can create your way, I'm going to say, out of anything, but also into anything.
Or through anything.
Yeah, or through anything. Exactly.
Yeah. Do you reckon that the energy between humans this year, like the connection that we hold with each other, has amplified? It's just like the notch, the volume, the energy volume tab on this world is just like cranked a bit.
Yes. And what I feel with it is the polarity has also occurred.
Yes.
Where I'm finding people and places and spaces and things that are just so not on the same wave are even further away, which sounds really strange, but energetically they feel even further away. It's like, that is literally not even going to touch me anymore. And whereas, yes, those who, I am absolutely blown away at the community I've experienced this year. And I was a part of, and have been a part of, a very, very strong unified community previously. And then when I moved to Byron Bay, I'm still very much in touch with so many of those people, but I have started to diversify, and there's these little communities popping up in all of these different places that I never would have expected, like could not anticipate. And like you said, it's just these soul deep, like cellular, it's like, boom, soul family, here you are, kind of connections.
Yeah, I think people something's happened this year where people have recognized the importance and beauty of collectives and communities and togetherness. Yeah, you're right. There's like groups popping up, you know, meditation groups or breathwork groups or stillness groups or walking groups or nature groups or just inner work groups, or just, you know, groups of people on the same wavelengths. They're starting to find each other and unite, and then spread this message of inner work and love and compassion and kindness and healing. And I think this is how we make waves in the world, you know.
Absolutely. I'd love to hear, actually, if we can, could we hear your experience of that this year? Like, have you found that for your own life?
I have found that, I mean, I suppose it's very different because I moved from the ADL to Geelong in Victoria at the end of June, and then we went pretty much straight into lockdown. So it's very isolating, and it did not present an opportunity to meet people or gravitate towards people or attract people, because you know no one, and then you can also do nothing. It's not like I could go to gigs or pubs or meditation sessions or yoga studios or going to those spaces that hold, where I know I will find people who are on the same wavelength as I am, who will understand and resonate with me. So it was difficult, but then with the opening up of everything, and then especially with the not pivot, I suppose, but me stepping into my higher self and making peace with a lot of cycles and shit from my past and letting all of that go, I am finding very clear connections starting to pull in towards me without me even having to do anything, which is the beauty of it, of life. And I think I hold that with me because, I did move from the UK when I was 16, and I managed to cultivate and create this beautiful life where I have friends in Adelaide who are my family. Like, I would not have made it this far without them, and they just came to me. You know what I mean? I found them, without even trying. They just happened to present themselves into my life, and because I've done that once already, I know that I can do that again if I just stand in my truth.
Yeah, you can. How, I just find that so interesting that you moved from Adelaide to Geelong and go straight into lockdown, and it was like you were quote unquote forced into that time of deep isolation and reflection, and that, like you said, that just alone and peace and I'm going to say peace and quiet, whether or not that's actually true, I don't know.
True.
But I
it was
imagine
true for me.
it. Yeah, just really deep internal time.
Yeah, I am definitely someone who gets overwhelmed very quickly. And a lot of the time I need a quiet space. So lockdown for me, it was just nice, Obviously there were moments where I missed social interactions, but it was me missing my friends. It wasn't me missing, going out and socializing. It was just me missing my friends. And that comes with when you move interstate. You just have to recognize that and honor it and accept it and move through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If you could go back to early 20s or a darker, harder period of your life and say something to yourself as you are now, a piece of advice or a passage of words, what would you say?
I think I would go back and remind myself that, wow, this is a very, I can't believe where I've just gone back to. This is a very dark, deep, dark time. I think I would remind myself of the light that I felt in my heart. I would tell myself to remember that light and to remember the warmth and grace in which I walk. And that it sounds so cliche, but that if I followed that, everything was going to be okay. That I was going to be okay, and that there was nothing wrong with me.
It's very beautiful. I love that you said that there's nothing wrong with you. When we did that that thing with Tom, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
And yeah, that came up, for that exact line came up for me. It's not your fault and there's nothing wrong with you. And I think so many of us grow up thinking there's something wrong with us, like so many of us, and then we get to early 20s thinking, we're broken, we're just fucked up, and you just solidify it and you cement that in your brain, and then you keep reinforcing it and self-fulfilling your own prophecy, because you're just like reinforcing the same belief system that is limiting you and disempowering you and self-sabotaging you over and over again, because we were fed this story that there's something wrong with us because we weren't conforming to the narrative that they wanted us to conform to. You know what I mean? It's fucked. It's so fucked up, which is why, I'm so passionate about the work that I'm doing, because there's nothing wrong with anybody,
Yes.
Nothing.
Yes, and I listened. Oh, Maisie, this is so epic. I happened to watch, of course, this incredible video this morning, and I only caught the first 5 minutes before the internet cut out. But they were it was this incredible woman. Her name's, I don't know if you know her, but her name's Nicole Gibson. She's the founder of a movement called Love Out Loud. And she was speaking about, she was using the metaphor of the traffic lights. And she said that we innately, as a human being, are actually able to tune into our own navigation systems and our own intuition to determine when it is safe and not safe to cross a road. Yes. She said, I actually don't need a red man or a green man to tell me that. And she said, yeah. And she's like, look, I appreciate traffic lights and I appreciate the whole, you know, keeping society safe. She said, however, it is these micro installations of control within our world and within our society that we conform to this, and that we abandon our own innate sense of human nature and that intuition and that instinct to choose for ourselves. And that, again, she said, you know, growing up, she felt exactly what we're talking about now is this the way that she viewed everything brought into her awareness all these questions about why. And then she got labeled as having behavioral issues, that she was disruptive, that she did not conform, that she was disobedient, all of these things. And she said, purely because I asked the question to a teacher, like, you know, why do we have to sit in this formation? What purpose does this serve? And things like that. And exactly what you just said, she then created these stories in her mind that she was, you know, not okay, or that, she just then started questioning herself and who she was. And like you said, just reinstalled those belief systems, and it became unbelievably detrimental to her. And she went on, you know, a very deep journey then, into all sorts of spaces. I won't go into her story, but exactly what you just said. We are so far removed from that beautiful uniqueness of who we are.
Exactly.
And that conformity and that beautiful expression that we are here to be, that we are supposed to be. And that is exactly why I get so fiercely passionate about what I do as well, and creating these spaces for people to actually feel. Some people come along and feel that for the very first time within themselves, this inexplicable energy, this essence, this soul that comes through, and it's like, what the fuck was that? And it's like, welcome, that's who you are. That's how it feels to actually be you.
I truly believed that I was genuinely fucking crazy up until the age of like 23, 24, 25, because of the spectrum of feelings and sensitivity to this world, and the way I would question and deep thinking, and trying to gain a deeper understanding of why things happen and who we are and what is this world. And, you know, it's suffering with mental health, like depression and anxiety, and then being someone who just deeply thinks and has deep feelings in terms of this world. I just connect apparently to everything and feel everything. And I literally thought I was fucking crazy. Mainly, you know, it comes down to childhood trauma and never being allowed to express, or being told to be quiet, or my emotions were too much, or I wasn't allowed to feel, or, you know what I mean? Don't question. Why are you questioning things? Let it go, like blah, 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 blah. And then, you get to 22, 23, 24, and you're just in your head and you're going, oh my God, I'm fucked up. I'm crazy. There's no hope for me. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be like this. I can never live a normal life. What is a normal life? But I can never live, you know, a stable, healthy, normal life, because I'm fucking crazy, because that's the narrative and the story we've been told if we, you know, seek the truth.
Yes. And completely resonate with you. Mine was definitely feeling based as well. And I feel like this is why I became so numb by the end, you know, by that mid to late 20s. It was almost like a protective mechanism had kicked in so powerfully. That was like, if I'm actually just going to be able to function in this world, we have to switch off from, like you said, all these sensitivities, all these quote unquote abilities to see things in a different way and feel so deeply connected to these aspects that were happening around us, or anything. This could go down a whole rabbit hole, but exactly that. And I feel like that was a huge part as to why I also got to that point where I was just that numb shell. Pure protective mechanism.
100%. 100%. We're gonna have to wrap this up, otherwise we'll be on here for about 3 hours. Last question for you. What do you think this universe is?
Oh, shit. What do I think this universe is?
Brief answer, in a nutshell. In a little nutshell. Wrap it up.
In a little nutshell. Okay, perfect. I believe this universe is an energetic soul expression of something so far beyond our human selves are ever going to be able to conceive.
Yes. I love that.
Is that nutshell enough?
That was so nutshell. Honestly, it was more nutshell than I thought it was going to be. You did a very good job of putting that into a nutshell.
My mind is now going into all of the places I could go with that. And I'm like, no, bring it down. Don't speak it. Just hold it.
We'll do another potty because there's so much shit I want to talk to you about, honestly.
Epic, yes.
Yeah, we'll just keep coming back and having conversations like this. Just for the people listening, where can they find you?
The best place to find me at the moment, I feel, is on Instagram. Mm-hmm. My handle is at @thisistessmartin, and you can find all kinds of things there. There's content, there's info. If I happen to be in your area and running an event or something, just keep an eye out. But I feel like that's probably the best platform. I am also on Facebook. Just as Tess Martin, and the profile picture is just me. So I had an old account that I ended up getting blocked out of. Mm-hmm. The profile picture is me and my former partner, just me. The account that's just me.
Yeah, all right.
But
all
Instagram.
Right. All right. Sick.
Instagram's the most exciting place.
For sure. I agree. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you so much for this invitation. It's been so much fun, and I can see so many more amazing conversations unfolding from here.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.